Worked in onshore offshore models. So we are going to discuss on-site offshore. What kind of involvement you had. Okay, see this whole project, this all these phases of the project get impacted. As common sense says, your planning will be different if one planner is sitting somewhere else. But first is what is on-site offshore. On-site offshore in these software development means that some of the resources like developers or testers or PAs are sitting in India. Let's be very clear. Or they're sitting in somewhere away from USA, but usually in India, Philippines, Venezuela, South Africa, Hungary. These are the main areas, mostly India, Bangalore. Okay, so the question is if how have you worked in that kind of model? In all this kind of model, just big impact on the project is that the requirement gathering works in a different way. Development works in a little different way because 4 developers will be sitting in India and 2 developers will be sitting here. Testers will be sitting here and some testers will be sitting in India. Training will be done. Trainer will be most probably will be here because we probably cannot train from India. All these things will be basically done half of the resources, maybe 90% of the resources will be sitting in India for some of these things, especially for development. Usual model is one lead sitting here and the rest of the people sitting in India. Similarly for testers, most of the people sitting in India and the lead is sitting here. So what happens is in all these projects, what happens is you have to think when will you talk with the team. So how will the protocol work? When you have done finalize the requirement, whom will you give? Will you give it to the development lead, or will you? So development lead should be sitting here basically. So I give it to the development lead who's sitting here. Then he distributes the work to his team. Okay. Then so he carries on the duties of interacting with them. Project manager doesn't have to directly interact with them. Dev lead talks to them. Okay, so whole team doesn't have to be available at 6 o'clock in the night, 7 o'clock in the night, in the evening. So one of the things is how will you meet with them? Whosoever is interacting with them, he has to either get up early in the morning or he has to be awake late in the night. Usually the Americans prefer early in the morning. They'll come at 8 o'clock and talk to them. 8 o'clock is like 9 o'clock in India, they'll talk to them.
Okay. But that's 9 in the night.
Yeah, so they sacrifice a little bit. But they are not forcing them to stay awake till 11. You see? So in India, they basically start working in 2 shifts. That's how they work. Some developers will be available in the morning time, some will be available in the evening time. Okay. So this is what this schedule of India in the team in India would be like in 2 portions. One will be catering to the night, one will be in the evening. Then we'll be able to talk to them. Testers will be coming. This thing we'll be talking to them. We'll be sending them the requirement. I'll be giving the requirement, handing over the requirement to the tech lead. He will distribute the work to his team. Then after development is done, test lead will give that system to the test lead. Test lead will distribute the test scripts to the testers. They will execute the test scripts, and they will not give you the results right away. They'll send you the results at the end of their day, which is our start of the morning. So there is no point in them sending all this work to us every time they find a bug. They need to send it when we are not here, so there is no point in sending it. So they send it to us only towards the end of the day. Then test lead in the morning, he will collect all the bugs and give it to the tech lead or the PM and the PM. So these are all the various things which come into picture whenever there is an on-site offshore team. Usually they avoid having BAs in the offshore. BAs cannot do anything from the offshore. There is no value addition from their side.
No point.
Because they have to gather the requirements, they have to meet with the users.
Yeah.
Users
are onshore.
Users, they want to meet at 2 o'clock in the evening. That's 1:30 in the night. Yeah. So there is no way it can happen. So BAs will be always hired here. PM no way can sit in India because he has to watch everybody here and he has to meet with stakeholders and things like that. Yeah. He has to meet with so many people, and every day he's meeting with the PMs or the stakeholders, the VPs, the directors, the users groups. So he has to be here. Developers and testers, they can be in India. Trainer can also not be in India. He cannot train it from India. But training material maker, if the big project is going on, they might hire 2 people. One will be making the material, one will be delivering the training. See? Then the person who is delivering the training can be here. The person who is making the training material can be in India. Right? Or nowadays there are people, right? Indian companies are taking tech writer projects. So you do they will do the technical writing for you. So they'll make the manuals for you basically. So you do everything there. You do training, everything there. They'll just make the manual for you.
Basically, offshore banking offshore working is like sort of a back-end process.
Yeah, yeah. It gives support to the things which are live here. Yeah, but as you can see nowadays, if the total people are 100, 80 will be working in India, 20 will be working here. That's why there are more jobs in India, right? Right.
Okay.
But all the good jobs will be here. Technical architect work can never go to India. And this is my thinking. You can make these comments while taking the interviews. These are not facts. These are tips for interviews. You can use some of these words while talking in interviews. You see my point? Just say these things. They will know that you know the stuff. That's the main idea. But anyway, I gave you some idea about the on-site offshore model also. I gave you how to talk in this thing. You need to, now you can gather a lot of this thing from this diagram itself. See, I have been in a place where some of the planners were sitting in India. They were not like really the high level of the stakeholders, but they were key people like some of the technology experts were sitting in India. At the requirement gathering phase, I have been involved in a place. Sometimes stakeholders sit in somewhere else. Like it's a big company. It's in America and in Canada and in India and in Japan. The stakeholders will be sitting in Japan. So you can mention that also. So in the requirement gathering phase, I have interacted and I have been part of the teams where the stakeholders were spread across the world. I had to schedule my time around them. I had to see when to meet with them and so on and so forth. Finish. You don't need to speak anything more. There's a little bit more than this, but you don't need to speak more than that. Development team typically is conducted like this. Dev lead is sitting here and development team is sitting in India. I have been part of the teams where 50% of the developers were sitting in India, about 90% were sitting in India. I've been part of the effort where nobody was sitting in India. I haven't been part of the effort where everybody was sitting in India. Every developer was sitting in India. Just say all this. She says, which ones are those? Just look at your resume. Say, first one was where I 50-50. Second one was one here, all in India. Third one was everybody. Just do whatever. You speak this, you forget this. Achha.
What is the relevance of this question? I mean, why do they ask? I mean, this is something